I cannot believe it. My mind is like blown today. This is incredible. Okay, guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we got some WandaVision news. Of course, the new episode dropped today, and I'm sorry to let you know this, but it's going to be spoilers. All right, there's definitely going to be spoilers, so I'm just letting you know now. I got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. All right, so boom, start of the episode, we see Wanda and her husband trying to basically calm down the babies because the babies are crying, right? So she's telling him to go get their binkies and everything, and so he goes to do that. She's trying to use magic. For some reason, her magic is not working on these babies, right? So that's one. That's like we don't know what could happen. I instantly thought that the kids might have powers too, so we don't know, so then there's that. Then, she gets a knock on the door after strangely saying, if only we had some help, here comes the neighbor. And, the neighbor does her thing where she's trying to like put the babies to sleep in I want to say a Pilates type of way. Like, she's working out while rocking the cradles. It's kind of weird. I get it though, because she said she was on her way to work out and everything like that. So that's what they were doing in the beginning. Then we see Monica wake up, right? So Monica Rambeau wakes up and she's greeted by Wu and Darcy. So now they're talking about, basically what was going on inside and how she's able to retain all her memories. It's just crazy. But the thing that she missed is like, from last week, what we gathered is that, she's been in there for years. For about 3 years. I think her mom died 2 years ago. And for those of you who don't know, her mom was actually in the Captain Marvel movie, and Monica Rambeau was the young girl in that movie. Now she's all grown up. This is like so many years later. And so basically, that's her tie-in with this. So, Wu comes from, I believe, Ant-Man, and then Darcy comes from Thor, with Jane and everything like that. So for those of you who don't know, that's where these characters really come from. Now, Sword altogether is like going to be a big thing with Phase 4, because basically what they're setting up Sword is to be the new Shield. Like, it's going to be on par with S.H.I.E.L.D. They handle more so space stuff, while S.H.I.E.L.D. handles the defense of Earth stuff, So that's basically what that is. All right, so now let's get back into it. So after that, Monica, like, goes to debrief and everything. She tells them that it's all Wanda. She's not sure exactly how she's doing it, which, honestly, us as fans who've been watching, we're not really sure either, because we're still trying to figure that out. So there's that. And then there's also the fact that Vision is slowly waking up. I wouldn't say really waking up, because there's nothing to wake up to. If you remember, he's dead. So we see a clip of them telling Monica that, Wanda came into, I believe, an AIM facility or a Sword facility and stole Vision's body. Wherever he was being held there airtight, because apparently it was Vision's wish that nobody does anything with his body after his death. And she's just basically ignoring all of that. She's ignoring his final wishes because she wants her family back. Wanda has lost a lot. From her backstory, she lost her parents, she lost her brother, and then she lost Vision. So now she feels completely alone, and you can kind of understand why she's doing what she's doing, right? So after all of that, Vision goes into his job, and he's talking with a coworker, and the coworker seems to be a little off. So Vision touches his mind, and he kind of gets this little idea of what's going on when he touches the guy's mind, and he basically wakes him up for a quick second, where he says, oh, like, he starts crying, like, help me, I have a relative who's sick and everything like that. It was like, she's doing this, can you please stop her, blah blah blah. So Vision fixes his mind again to put him back into the state, because he wanted to calm him down in the workplace. Because if you notice, once they got the email, everybody in the office was reacting to the email the exact same way. So that right there tells you that there's some type of mind control going on, and Vision's catching on. Vision is slowly catching on to it. So I just cannot wait for him to fully wake up, which he later did in the episode, but we'll get to that. All right, so now let's go to the next key moment, right? The boys find a dog. First of all, I meant to say, during the whole workout, cradle rocking thing, the babies ended up growing to 7 years old, just like that, in front of the neighbor, and she didn't bat an eye. Weird. That's one. Now they get a dog, right? And she shows up with a doghouse. It's like something is like telling her, "Oh, be here at this moment. No matter what you're doing, just stop it. Get in the middle. Like stop it dead in the middle of whatever you're doing." Boom. So then now she comes back, and she has this doghouse. She's helping them name the dog. The dog damn near gets electrocuted. It's crazy. But this episode was just so amazing because it gave us so much content. For people who were saying that it started off slow, I think Disney heard y'all. So they're definitely speeding things up a lot quicker than I had thought would happen. Because I thought this was going to be a show where we could get plenty of seasons, but it seems like they're trying to take care of everything this one season. So now they tell the boys they can't have a dog until they're 10. Why did the boys age right then and there? They looked at each other like, we got this. And then they turned to 10 years old. Same clothes and everything. Their clothes stretched. It was like, what? So now I'm still confused on if the boys have powers or not, or is it just they know that they're in Wanda's world and they're able to just do whatever they need to do, So that's just my thought on it. I'm not really sure. I can't wait to find out like the rest of you. Now, let's talk about another key moment in this episode where we look back, at Darcy and everybody over there at Sword. So basically now they get the idea to send the drone in because for some reason Monica's clothes was bulletproof because she went in there with a Kevlar vest on, but then all the clothes that she got transformed in there was still her vest, basically. So now they find out that everything that goes through the hex, that's what they call it, is being transformed. It's not being destroyed, it's being transformed. So they decided to throw something in there that won't get transformed, right? So they throw a drone in with the camera. Monica thinks, okay, we're just going to get eyes on Wanda and see what's going on. But the people at Sword had another idea. They put a missile on the camera. We know how this goes. So Wanda comes outside with the boys after the dog runs to the door to, like, he senses something. So she goes outside with the boys. Next thing you know, she sees the drone. Cut to the next scene. Wanda's walking out of the hex with the drone in her hand, telling them, leave me alone. This is my home. This is my family. You are not going to interrupt this. I'm not going to let anybody take this from me again. That was her words. And, like, if they couldn't grasp the fact that she was talking about Vision, like, then they're just going to be lost because we know it's about Vision. All of this she's doing is about Vision. She wants Vision to live because, like I said, she lost everybody. Her father, her mother, her brother, Vision. She lost everybody. So now, if they can't see that Vision is what she wants, then they're going to be at odds for the remainder of the series, clearly. So Monica tries to talk sense into Wanda, telling her, look, I'm your friend. I helped you deliver your babies. I don't mean you no harm. I'm an ally, trying to defuse the situation. So now that happened, basically you got the other guys at Sword, the director himself is talking about, oh, no, we can't do that, because basically you got hostages in there. You got victims in there because you're sitting there holding this town hostage. Now, Wanda doesn't see it that way, clearly. She doesn't care about that because the way she designed this town is to make sure everybody around her works for her. Not really like necessarily working for her, but, she's making that town work for her fitting, basically. So it's like a sitcom, that's the way she's doing it. So even when the drone appeared, they didn't want to show the drone on the sitcom. So Wanda basically blocked that out of view for people who were watching on their televisions. And that was pretty clever too. So it's like, my thing is, how is she doing all of this and paying attention to every little detail in the town while still giving her attention to Vision and her boys? So that's something we're going to get to later. Because after this scene, what happens is Wanda ends up turning all the guns that's pointed on her onto the director. And it's not to kill him, it's to secure her getaway. She goes back into the hex by telling them, leave her alone. Then something happens with the hex. Like you see, I guess she like transforms it. So my guess is nothing else is allowed to go in there or come out. So we'll see what happens with the next episode. But now on to the next thing. It was basically Vision coming home from work. And no, I'm sorry, I'm skipping a part. All right, so after she gets back, the boys can't find their dog now. So then they run into the neighbor's house, who she's in the garden, basically nestling the dog, because apparently the dog got into something in her garden and died. Vision pops up and sees what's going on, and he immediately feels bad for his sons, you know? So they go home. It looks like he comes in from burying the dog in the backyard. And after he does that, he finally talks to Wanda about everything. He said, I spoke to my coworker today, and for a brief second, I freed his mind from your spell. Like, he knows it's her spell. So she starts denying it, like, what are you talking about, and everything. They get into this big thing where Vision ends up floating, and then she joins him in the sky, and just basically, like, I guess it looked like they were setting up a fight scene, but it didn't go that way. It was just a regular, like, relationship argument if you had superpowers. You know what I'm saying? So then he's sitting there trying to talk to her, trying to make her tell him what's really going on. She keeps denying it, and then when he finally pushes, I guess, asks the right question, the doorbell rings, and she says, "This wasn't me. I promise. I didn't do this." And she kind of did. But let me tell you, before I tell you what happened with the doorbell, let's go back a few. She was talking to her sons about family and everything. Early in the episode, they was asking her, like, oh, what's going on with dad? Like, why is dad at work on a Saturday? And she said, because we're going through something. Like, how if you and your brother fight over a toy, at the end of the day, he's still your brother and he's still yours, Then they were saying, like, oh, do you have a brother? And then she says, yes. Sadly, like, you could tell she was getting depressed. And that's understandable because, like I said, she lost everything. That was, like, basically the meaning, like, the basis of this whole entire episode is what Wanda has lost, So now you see they was talking about, bringing back the dead and everything. So everything was there. They're setting up for everything. And so then now the doorbell rings, right? We're back in present time now. And the doorbell rings and it's Pietro, right? But it's not Aaron Taylor Johnson like we thought, from the actual Avengers movie. No, it's Evan Peters, Quicksilver from the X-Men movies. Like when I saw that, I was like, no effing way. Like, there's no way this is possible, because it's like, just by him showing up there, it means so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, for all of you who've watched it, or who you know what I'm saying, who if you, first of all, if you got this far in this video, you had to watch it. You know what I'm saying? You had to have watched it. Otherwise, this is like big spoilers for you, right? So it's Evan Peters as Quicksilver, and she's like, Pietro? And then Darcy goes, they recasted Pietro? Like, it's not that they recasted him. I'm not really sure exactly what was Marvel's plans with this, but the fact that they did this means so much. It's now bigger than Wanda. It's bigger than WandaVision. It's bigger than Disney Plus. You know what I'm saying? This is the introduction to the X-Men for me. For a lot of people, if you get it, if you understand, because Evan Peters Quicksilver is part of the Sony franchise X-Men, So now we was wondering, how were they going to, like, incorporate the X-Men into Phase 4? And they did it with one small scene. You know what I'm saying? They did it with this one small scene, because now it's I can't even put it to words. Like, it's amazing. Because now, does that mean that Magneto is Wanda's father? That's what I'm automatically thinking. That's where my mind went immediately. Once she embraced him and said brother, and he was like, oh, who's the popsicle looking at Vision? Like, it's just like, oh my God. Like, then now, if they do it that way, they don't need to recast the X-Men. Maybe Wolverine. That's it. All the other X-Men can be just as they are, except for the fact that, like, if you look at Dark Phoenix, due to the fact that Mystique got killed in that movie, I'm not sure how this is going to go, So they might have to recast a couple people. But for the most part, they could keep the core X-Men as X-Men if they do it right. So we don't know. This is just speculation. Like I said, this is all just where my mind was rambling. I'm just taking wild guesses here. But for him to be Quicksilver in WandaVision, it's just like, it's crazy. But you know what else? I'm getting this thought as I'm literally talking to the camera right now. Multiverse. Like, this could be, it might not just be the X-Men. It could actually be the multiverse, because, say for instance, right, how we know the Spider-Man movie is coming, and it's going to have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man as well. This could be the multiverse. It could be Pietro, but from a different like, so it's like, holy shit, this is more powerful than anybody could have ever thought. So I can't wait to see what happens. I'm very excited about this. Yeah, but yeah, that's that's the review. That's pretty much everything that happened, and I cannot wait till next week. Um, Thank you guys for watching. I got a lot to think about right now. I gotta watch it again, a couple times. Honestly, a couple times. Yeah. So take care with that, and also, little heads up, I'm returning to Twitch this week. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start playing games regularly like I normally do, because even since I've been off Twitch, I've been playing my games daily anyway. So, but also every Sunday now, 5 p.m. Eastern time or 7 p.m. Eastern time. Some weeks will vary, but I'm gonna hold a segment called Kin Speaks, where I, Kinsuchi, will be talking to you guys about multiple stuff that goes on throughout the week. Sometimes I'll even talk to you guys about topics that don't necessarily make it into that week's podcast and everything like that. But just to get you guys input on everything. But thanks for watching. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the interactions and everything, and you guys have been amazing so far. So I cannot wait for this. Take care.